here with you. And a lot of people, for some reason, have mixed up the dates. I think they thought it was yesterday. So no worries, all is well covered. And so today I'm really happy to share this webinar with you, which is about honor your higher calling. And this is a topic that I've been teaching and talking quite a bit, but this time is really particularly focused on how to create or grow your profitable, purpose-driven business. So first of all, again, welcome everyone. And if you don't know me, I'm Siweng Vito. So I'm a coach, and I have created SoBiz Coaching to particularly help people who want to start or grow the existing business that often is in the health and wellness industry. So and as you know, if you are familiar with my work in the community, that I used to coach a lot of women to empower themselves to go through the transformation. But lately I have been doing a lot more coaching with businesses that to help them to really take it to the next level. And often all of us that maybe used to work in a day job or corporate job and really have been studying or learning another modality in the health and wellness industry and really want to make a living out of it just to do what we love to do. So I often help people to transit from that situation, but also when they started a business, often they need some help. So that's when I come along. So when we say honor your higher calling, what I really mean by that, often people that I work with, they felt after a certain age that there is an inner calling that they want to contribute and make some significant impact in the world, whether it could be very big, as in, creating a business to affect many lives, or it could be writing a book, or it could be becoming a mother. One way or the other, they felt there's a purpose for them and they really want to answer that call. And one of my teachers who I love, it's Joseph Campbell, and he calls it a lot about following your bliss, which is really answer that call to follow your inner calling to do what you want to do, and that will give you joy and purpose in life. So, and I've been helping a lot of women with that for the last few years when I coach them, and more people feeling jaded or they think there's got to be more in life than just a job that pays the bill. So many people have been studying or practicing modalities, say in Reiki or in hypnosis or anything that usually serving someone, helping others, and then they really want to change into a business so that they can actually take more money home and become a real job, so they can maybe work less hours, and that tend to become the transition that where I come in. And that's really my story. I've been coaching people for quite some time, and many of you may have known me that I come from a background of economics, and I have study and work in Europe, in Australia, in Asia for a long time as a consultant economist. And then after that, I obviously have my personal journey. And then I would say that actually in my first quarter of my life, a lot of times it's really about chasing what I call the worldly success or achievement in life. And I think I thought that would give me a sense of purpose and identity. But when after a couple of scholarships and degrees and working around the world and with all the privilege that came with it, I actually realized that it wasn't what gave me the purpose or the drive. And then obviously I gone through my own self journey and then realized that what I really want to do is to help others that in the same situation where they really want to find the right purpose. And it could be a woman transforming from a consultant like myself to start their own business, or just to walk away from a relationship no longer help them. So it's all a lot about women empowering work. But then lately it's really shifting in this direction, helping people to build a business. So, I felt that very often that I kind of accidentally dropped into this particular field because, after I've been coaching and interacting with people in the community for a while, I started to collaborate with other women who also have the same passion or idea about what we really want to do with our lives. So, and then the collaboration, the creativity brought in different projects and then expanded my community and also initiatives. So then somehow people start to ask me, can you teach me this? Can you teach me that? Can you show me that? And then suddenly I start to coach people more in terms of how to build their business, and also make sure that when you're trying to grow your business, you don't get burned out, you get really clear about what you do so you don't lose focus, which we're going to talk a lot about today. And just a little spilling about my background and how this is relevant. And that's the context, because I also had struggled before in terms of growing a business that make it profitable at the same time is still very purpose driven, because there are opportunity that I had that I can make a lot of money out of it, but I know it's not aligned with my vision, or there's certain things that I thought that is really meaningful, but then struggle to pay the bills. So it took me a while and a lot of investment in time and working with different coaches to really find the balance and what really going to help us to grow and sustain ourselves, because you can't keep on, sometimes I felt people doing a lot of things, spreading themselves very thin, and they not really necessarily make the desired results. So they either get burned out or they want to give up, or it just never really seems to take off. And I think there is a really fine moment here. And so today we're going to cover some of this. And as the promise of the call, what we're going to do is that we're going to talk a lot more about how we're going to put in the seeds for growth, how we're going to move your hobby into real business, how to tap into your feminine wisdom, and to collaborate with others to create purposeful and profitable projects, and yet try to prevent you from burning out. So one of the key things we're going to talk about is about a signature program and choosing the right marketing tool. And some of you are probably a seasoned practitioner or people who have been in business for a while. So you may find some of these things that you heard before, but maybe not in this entire context. But also sometimes you need to be reminded of and put everything together into your perspective. So I guess that's really the context. And I think we shall start. One of the things that I often start is I ask people to check in where they are. And often I wonder, you're in the right place if you have been feeling stuck or jaded or lost, whether it's with your job or business. This is a good time to get some clarity and get some ideas to ignite your passion again or refresh your mind. Or you felt that you were in a situation you needed more clarity and ideas to how to really keep going when things are not working. Or you're tired of reinventing the wheels and you don't know how you're really going to achieve some results. So if you are one of those, or you have been feeling something like that similarly in the past, then this is a seminar that should give you some information that you can apply them straight away. So so that's the basic promise. And a lot of us that find the business has been like a hobby for a very long time, and never really go into a real business that helped them to create some stable income. And as I said before, you get really burned out in the process of doing it. And also, after you've been here, like if you have been in business for a while, you feel there's a pressure to succeed or to really grow. Otherwise, you felt that, am I, not supposed to do this? Is it maybe not right for me? Am I, not good enough and stuff like that? And also, if you have left your day job or you really rely on this business to bring you income, often what happens is that if you don't see the results straight away, you can energetically will definitely get affected, all your ups and downs, and you will really affect how you're going to perceive your business. But also, in this industry, we tend to also work with sensitive people, so people can feel where you are. So when you're not in a really good place, people tend to feel it. And that's quite important to really keep your mindset and headspace right. And that's why sometimes I think working with a coach is very important, very beneficial, because it can really help you lift you up from a place. Because if you keep on doing what you're doing, if you're not getting the results, then you really should look at maybe you should stop doing certain things. And also I feel a lot of people may have common problem that they know They have a lot to offer. They have a lot of things to express, but they can't really bring it out fully. They know what they do. They can help people, and they don't know how to reach out to the right audience or right among bigger amount of people, and that can be very frustrating. So I hope I will share some ideas here that can help some of you to fine tune something, because a lot of times I find people, it's not that they have done it all wrong or they are really got no talent. It's actually the opposite, that usually people have too much to give, and they are unable to really articulate what they do and how they can really help people in a specific group of people, or they may target the market where it's too general, or they try to do everything for everyone all the time. And that's often the problem when they don't see growth and they spread themselves really thin, not just energetically, but with the business. So I hope that we give you some ideas today that to help you with clarifying and create some momentum around this subject. Again, some of you may be very seasoned business owner. So I would say that I think the piece about mindset and also positioning will be quite important. Some of the basics you may already have known. But I really hope to cater a wider range of people. So we'll see how it goes. So where am I? Okay. So next. Yeah, and one of the things is that when I work with people, they may have a problem with the business, and I often feel when I often say to them, in A Course in Miracles, is that whenever you see a problem that you already have a solution, but where you are in your vibration or in your mindset, or where you are emotionally, you won't be in the same level that actually see the solution. So it's quite important, and I often say this, that there are two folds here. One, you got to have an internal observer that give you internal guidance. That means you got to be able to tune in and quiet down all the noise, the white wolf and black wolf telling you whether you could do something or not doing something. So the part of you that able to tune in and put yourself together and get that clarity is really important, because from then you interact with the outer world, you will see opportunity that will help you, rather than you will see distractions that you think maybe that can help you. And we talk about distraction a bit today, because I find that sometimes the way that things, like, the universe is constantly self-correcting, course-correcting for you, and self-organizing. So whatever vibration and things that you give out, often you will see the result reflect back at you. So when you may be in a place where, say, you're desperate, you have a lot of doubt and worry, often what you see as opportunities tend to be distraction to get you to, once again, really clarify, am I really on the right path? Or am I doing it so that I get myself busy, so that I'm really not actually focusing what is important? So for me, that the internal piece and the internal and external interaction is very important. And once again, if you find it really like not something you want to do to work with a coach, at least have someone who are in a community that have a business that you can work as a coaching buddies. Because I find it that even if you voice certain things that come along the way, someone can help you in terms of sensing where you are and tell you whether this is a distraction or that could be a really good opportunity. So that's important too. And I think for me, and those that study or work with or being coached with, or people that I've coached with, those are really achieved sacred success tends to have two things. One is that they're really able to align themselves with their vision, what they want to do, who they are, and really able to articulate and offer what they want to do in the world and help people. And they're in alignment most of the time, rather than in disalignment. But the other thing is commitment. And the commitment here, it's not about, do you work hard? Are you putting in the hours? Far from it. The commitment to me is committed to disalignment, so that you will spend time on figuring out whether you are actually on your path, rather than how can I make it less fake? I mean, what I meant is that sometimes people committed to so many things, keep themselves busy, but they aren't actually doing the things that really help in the business. But they just think that, oh, that so-and-so is doing it on Facebook, or so-and-so seems to be, having a crack at this, and then if I don't do this, I missed out, or I'm not as good as that. So I better learn this and do those posts and create those things. And sometimes it isn't serving you. Sometimes it's just diversifying your efforts and sacrificing your time. And you can model from others, but there is a fine point from modeling to not really knowing what you do and whether it really serves your business. We're going to get into a little bit in more concrete, and I don't like to be vague. But really, what I meant is you need to be committed to discipline yourself to take action that inspire action, but actually actions that work for you, not just because everyone out there is saying that it's a hot thing to do. And we fall into traps a lot, and sometimes you do need a buddy to tell you that, hold on a second, everybody is doing, I don't know, webinar is one thing maybe for some, but say workshops or certain things that they are, or Facebook ads and stuff like that. I mean, Facebook is great, but are you really knowing this is exactly the product you want to sell right now? What does it really sell? What is the message? Is it the right time, and what you're putting on the ad? I mean, doing an ad is one thing, but what you really do with it and what you put in it is another. So I found a lot of times that my clients, when they come to see me, I look at what they do. I think they spend a lot of time on wasted effort, and that's one thing. And it's because sometimes we didn't have the discipline to commit to take only inspire action. We committed to busyness. So we'll come to that why and all that. Sometimes I diverge a bit. So I hope I'm trying to have PowerPoint to make me stay on track, but good luck. So those are, I think I've talked about several problems or common things that I find with people that they struggle with. And now I really want to share with you a few what I call the keys that I think it doesn't matter whether you're a beginner or a seasoned business owner, as I said, that that will help you. I mean, number one, I would say, is find your true tribe. And so many of us say, I don't know, like let's say pick a modality, say you're Reiki master, and you love doing healing work. But that's great and quite general. But what exactly is your niche? What is exactly your market? I mean, do you really know who may be your ideal client in that? Whether you want to help people with physical problem, or what kind of particular clientele you tend to interact with. Let's just say you work in hospice or work in hospital, so you tend to meet certain group of people, and then that could be your group of client that you tend to be able to get in touch with, what I call the lower hanging fruit, where if you have access to certain group of people and they are in the profile that ideal client that you want to work with, because you love to help people that have physical problems or people who are a certain illness, then it will really matches you, and then you will really get focused on that, and then all your product and services and your time will be really quite focused on that particular niche and particular group of client. And that's really quite important. And I think a common mistake of a lot of people is that they're trying to be everything and getting really general, as well as just trying to help. You became a Reiki teacher, a master, and you just go and advertise yourself as such. But sometimes it's really going to help you if you kind of narrow your niche and go more specific. It's better to be several kilometers deep than very wide but only a few inches into the ground. So and that comes across to me very clearly when I analyze people's business. In terms of the growth, you will still get offshot like client here and there, but once you really get clear about what exactly is the niche, what is your ideal client, and where do you get access to that group of people, that will really make a difference. And I know some people will say, oh, that's no brainer, we know that, like any coaching exercise we did, we talk about that. But really, until you really examine this closely, it's not going to work on the same level, because I'm a good example. I kind of refuse doing that sort of thing. Like I go general as we all started to, and then when my coach pushed me to really examine who my ideal client is, who do I tend to attract, who do I really want to work with, what really gives me the joy, what exactly is my particular talent and skill set. And when I really drill that down, when I start to write to this particular avatar as one person, that I create a product for her, when I write my sales material to her, and also when I put the intention to her, it changes the game. Like when I get more specific, when I really get down to who I want to work with, often it's the person who were like yourself 3 steps ago. And when I really push this, I get really honest, and I think I get a lot deeper with what I'm capable to do and also how I help my clients. And I would say to you, in a period about 2 months being pushed to do this, I've increased my business volume by 400%. And that's a fact. And those no-brainer thing that was sometimes just like, oh yeah, actually works if we do the work. So don't overlook it until you really know. And again, checking with your body, trying to see whether you can really be clear about, narrow it down and be really clear about your marketing message to this particular group of people, what you can provide, how you can help, what the benefit is, and why you like this group, this particular niche. Is it because you have good access to it, or you just because you kind of liked it? If you don't go deep with this question, it's very hard to really grow your business vertically. You may go horizontally. So that's one thing. Another thing I talked about a lot with my clients is about your 80-20 rule. Like I say, 80% of your income comes from 20% of your client or product, but 80% of your headache also come from 20% of your client. Obviously, they're different clients. So really focus on what works for you and start to cut down what doesn't. And I know women is really good at multitasking, and actually our brain is more wired to do this. But you know, the fact is that if you can't run 3 business, 4 projects at the same time, often you won't be able to really focus. And I'm guilty as such as well. And once you really find your tribe, really know that those people that you want to work with, and really those that you can really help by using your talent, your passion, and your skill set. And then you hone in with the marketing message, or you really speak to them. At that time, you will be able to really put it clear about what marketing strategy and tools that apply to you and what doesn't. Like, say, for example, if a lot of your really good client that you want to work with probably you know, in the example, talk about that. Say you have a lot of access to hospital terminally ill patients, for example. Then social media may not be really the avenue for you, even though everybody seems to be doing it. You got to be really clear. And sometimes, and also, if you hate certain aspect of marketing or and networking and things like that, then hire someone to do it for you. Don't push it, because if you say you don't like doing social media or doing posting, even if it's the hardest things to do, and you force yourself to do it, the things come out won't be as good as it can be, or you get jaded and dragged to do it, so at the end you don't do anything at all. You better to hire someone to do it, or forget about it, because it may not be your most important avenue anyway. So don't sacrifice your energy for things that doesn't work for you. That's the required discipline and, again, commitment. You know, sometimes I would say sometimes it's because you love yourself and love what you do, and you would say yes to certain project, even though it may be hard. But sometimes you would say no, because of the same reason, that you love yourself and you love what you do and you don't want to ruin it. So you would say no. Learning how to say no requires discipline and commitment. That's what I say about your alignment and commitment. If you have a really good practice in it, chances are you'll be more focused, and therefore you can grow your business better. And that will also keep you from burning out and disappointed with yourself and maybe others. And like one example, I tell you, you don't have to follow what everyone is doing out there. And sometimes you need to, if you actually did the step 1, knowing really your niche and the people you want to work with and your core marketing message, you figure out that you don't have to follow some other people's things that have been done. So for example, the coach that I work with and learn from the US. So when she first started a few years back, she didn't have a website for 18 months. she was doing quite well because what she was doing primarily focused on coaching women who in transition. They were young mothers, well, not so young, but mothers, maybe have a few kids or what have you. So they may not have a day job or they may have a side business, but often she was helping women that were transiting from, say, a corporate job or different town to where she was. So she was helping women in transition, raising family and all that. And so whether she talked to her client, get her client, her easiest access group would be the women she meet at daycare, play school, and networking event and playground and all that. So she didn't really need a website. All she need, because what she did is that she speak to these women, and often you will find word of mouth referral. It's very, very effective for in-person networking. So sometimes you need to know what you do, your product and service, and where is your access group before you dive into all kind of marketing tools or effort. And she was running a business very successful. I mean, of course, she jumped leaps and bounds after when she have more online support and all that stuff, when she grow and expand. But in the initial phase, you don't have to. And if you're someone who hate those things, don't force yourself. Don't force yourself to be who you aren't. And there's no rule to that. You know, Wayne Dyer has written all these books. He doesn't know how to use the computer. He write on yellow paper. You got to find what works for you. And that's your 80-20 as well. You know, so you should focus on the 20% of the time that you spend on and doing fun things that give you 80% of income rather than the other way around. So I think that was a good example just to tell you don't have to follow what everybody else is doing, but work out what's right for you and your market. I mean, if you suddenly decided you want to break into a niche of IT geek and help them to solve the stress problem, then you may have a problem because these people do hang out in internet space, and then you may not like that. So you got to be smart about this and focus on what works for you. But then you also grow your muscle one step at a time. Say you're starting out and you get really good at closing a sales conversation with people one-to-one, but you're not, you're still quite new, so you're still exploring and getting it right. Then you exercise this muscle, and when you become really strong with one-to-one conversation to what we call the sales conversation, then you may then feel very comfortable to do the same thing but in groups. So you build the other layer of muscles. And then if you're drawn to and you want to do things maybe more online, so you can have multiple locations or and easier to organize and so forth, then you grow that muscle. You do step by step. Don't try to jump all over the place. And I think that's important. It's not a race, because if you are creating a business that what I call soul biz, a business that you really care about, and that's what you would do no matter how much money you got, and that's what you do, you have all the time in the world because that's your calling, then it's not a race. There's no point of trying to do everything all the time quickly. Many people just need to be reminded of that. So don't do everything. Choose very carefully. Then the next thing I want to talk to you about, it's about your signature program and product and service. So people who work with me know that I'm really big fan of this because, I hate people compare apple and orange, like apple and apple. And so I want them to compare apple and orange. If that makes sense. Because, say you're a massage therapist, very often that you have tons of them out there, and you may try to be more specialized in remedial or, I don't know, regeneration of skin, or I'm just making things up, or aromatherapy. So you may specialize in certain things, but it's still, people will still consider you a massage therapist. So they compare your price, compare where you go, where you are location-wise, are you mobile? They compare, what hours you work. You are still in the same competition with others. Now, again, when we create your signature program or product or service, it's not about, I want to become more competitive. I mean, I was very competitive when I was young, but now I realize that's not really necessary to go. I think that's a better way to go around it, which is, I would say collaboration is a lot more than competition. But also what I've learned as I grow older is it's about really bring out your uniqueness, because each one of us have a divine sets of given set of talent and skills and life experiences, and no one can replace, and no one can be you but you, and you can't be anyone else. So for me, the best ways, the fastest way to grow a business is to really hone into that, your own unique selling signature, your unique selling point. I think unique selling point sounds quite boring and very commercial, but what it really means to me is that how to really articulate who you are, and therefore how and why your product and service is so different. One way to do so for me would be creating a signature program, product, or service that it's a combination of a few things that you do, or with a different format and so forth, but it's something that you can really deliver a lot of value and benefit to people in a tight unit. And so first of all, you give out more value than just a one-off thing, just a massage for an hour. It's not the same as you actually create a program. Say someone comes to you for anti-aging or something, and you really look at how your program can deliver specific results. And therefore, your program may include not just massages, certain products, certain, I don't know, remedies or practices. And you really think in a holistic 360 way, and how you can bring out your unique gift, talent, skills, knowledge, experience to bring the same anti-aging massage or thing that someone else seems to be able to do, but you can package it and really put it together under your own signature. And I think that's really, really powerful. And I, as an observer, I know that that's the way how most successful business there to make a difference. So the example, for example, what I love to talk about, it's Catherine Woodward Thomas. So I know her for a few years. When I was younger, I actually was also studying her program. And see, her background is coach, relationship coach, counselor, that sort of thing. But what really distinguished her from the ocean of therapists, or relationship therapists, is that she was very known for her program, which is called Calling in the One. So she started with her book. She wrote a book, but I know that before that, she was actually doing some women's group and teaching women with what she had learned herself. Again, she could have learned about therapy skill in terms of relationship, just like everyone else in an institution. But obviously, she put in her own take on it and her interpretation. It became her signature program with, maybe 7 steps or elements that she really found is essential, and she put in her signature to it, and plus her own experience and what works and what doesn't. And then she became very known with the program over like many years of coaching different women with it. And then she have her system. So often your signature program or product or service is a process that, like other therapists, you have a modality, but you may have created your own process. Maybe some extra bits that you can really add to help the others, help your clients. So anyhow. And then she wrote a book based on her process. So that's actually the steps that she started teaching about how she helped people. And she created a program of some form, the description, and then she wrote a book. But that became her signature program, Calling in the One. And I've taken it, and I know people became her coaches. You can really see that became a business model. Not only it's sustainable, because obviously people who've gone through her program may want to become a coach or tell others about the program. It's ongoing a lot of times, and also very beautifully, then you also can create certification and so forth. So you can see how it could grow up, both vertically or horizontally. And she's very much known for her program than a therapist of relationship and so forth. And I find it really, really, really smart way to build your business. But also you will get better at what you do, because you're not just thinking creating a product and service for very one-off. You're really creating something that you can improve, you can fine-tune, you can tweak, you can get feedback from others. You may run it again next year. So for me, a signature program, it's really the way how you can grow your business systematically. You can actually set goals with it. That let's say you want more people to sign up this year, or you're going to add more value to it. You have done other seminar, you learn new skill, you're going to add this workbook, you're going to maybe invite another teacher who may do a certain things that and certain modality can add on bonus that are going to make it more interesting or comprehensive or better. You see, that's how things can grow. Otherwise, you may do the same service over again and again. The evolvement is a lot slower. So I really love having a signature program. It doesn't have to be complicated. You start simple. You start what you can do. As I said before, don't try to do what everybody's doing. Do what is right for you and start small. Start simple. But that's the way, what I call a seed potential for growth. So that's very important in my mind. Now, we're coming to next is about the success mindset. And actually, I think I covered quite a lot of it on the fly. But when I talk about, about being really honest with who you are, being very disciplined and committed to your own alignment. And I think some of the things that I learned over the years in working with others is that you got to own your craft. You got to own your purpose. You can't, how can I put it? You cannot wait for someone to tell you, what you do is great and get that approval. If you have that calling, if you have that passion, if you sacrifice all these hours and trying something, even if it was hard and all that, that's for you. That's your calling. So own it and know that you don't have to wait for anyone to tell you that you can do it. You're just gonna bloody do it. And trust that you can have that success that you see. Because sometimes it's really, obviously, we all know that what we believe, our thoughts affect our emotions and affect our interactions and actions and so forth. So the internal going to the external and become a reality and so forth. I believe actually most of you here know this and really understand it. But intellectual understanding is one thing, but sometimes when it comes to you, when in practice, it's another. Often you need to know the only person to convince that you're good enough and this is the right thing to do and just go for it. It's you. The only person who stops you in the track can be you. The only person that isn't giving you the pat on the shoulder, it's all very critical, it's also can be you. So, and I would say when that happens, again, go back to what I say, work with a coach or get with a buddy. Stop comparing, start focusing. And then you would need that clarity. You would know when that moment that you need someone to lift you up a little bit and get you out of the doubt, to top yourself up and ease up your vibration into something better than doubt or worries. Because in that level, you can't really create your signature program that will succeed. You can't really connect with other individuals and create new opportunities. So when you feel it in that place, go and get some help, get some support, because you own your craft, you own the success to yourself. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise, especially your black wolf that telling you that, everybody can do it, but not me. I was never the lucky one. It doesn't work that way. So for me, it's really important. That's why to have a buddy or a coach to work with you and to stay on your purpose instead of fear. And I can tell you what the difference between, you can tell whether at the moment you are still on purpose if you're excited about your new things. Even though you may work long hours for it, you feel good, you feel fueled. People are responding to you. So clients come from nowhere, even though let's say you're creating a new product or program, client 20 years ago contact you and want to do something. It doesn't matter where they come from, the universe is responding to you, you're on fire, and you know that feeling. And I tell you this, that often is the case that when you're on purpose, like something unexpected would just come up, may or may not help you with your current projects, but telling you you're doing something right. And you will have no problem to create a bit more balance between your work and life because you're on a good vibration, so you know when to stop and when to start. You feel good about taking breaks, you feel good about doing fun things rather than telling yourself that I should have done more work. Since I'm not making as much success, I should work harder. That's the time that you actually not on purpose, you're probably acting from fear. And you will also notice that productivity really change if you work in the when you are on purpose. Sometimes it's a day-to-day thing. No, I would say to even Oprah, not every day she's in that high vibration. There are times that we feel shit. But the point here is that when you notice it, how quickly you bounce back, what is the resilience, and who can you get in touch with to support you to be back. So it's about being conscious about it and being active about it. Acting out of fear, acting from fear, you will know it when you felt you're going through the to-do list because you think you should, because other people are doing the same thing. You say yes to things even doesn't really interest you, and you feel jaded, and then you're waiting and you don't know when a breakthrough is going to come, whether it's going to come at all. You wonder why others can make it but not you. Something's wrong with you. You may not be good enough, and success is never your thing. Can never get it right. You feel guilty if you don't work as hard as much as possible, and you compensate all this and push, and that's when you're acting from fear. And we've got to be very honest about this. And when we catch ourselves in that space, then we just must stop and go back to our alignment and commitment. Sometimes less is more. So again, that's why it's really important to have a community or supporting network or body to help you with this. Now, and I cannot stress enough how important it is to have that support system. So when I say hire a coach, mentor, advisor, if you have the capacity to do so, that's great. You may want to work with different kind of advisor, coaches, and mentors throughout your growth. At different stages, you may meet different people. When a student is ready, the teacher will appear, that sort of thing. Now, if you feel that you have been on business for a while, then I would say it's really time to really start thinking that how can you build up more relationship with others in the business and collaborate more? Because often I feel that's when you really bring the best of each other and you can emerge as an influencer or leader. And that not just only help you with your own business growth, but also always help you into different mindset. It's more expansive. And we're going to come to this feminine side of things a little bit more. Yeah, so as I said before, about the feminine, did I skip a slide? And one thing I wanted to add about this is that, some of you may have been in business for quite some time, and then I want to talk about this a little bit. It's about, okay, one thing is that I think for coaches particularly, you got to walk your talk. And if you're a healer as well, that, whether you're really looking after yourself, and that's important too. And for people who start in the business, obviously, really don't treat your business like a hobby, really getting, things sorted, and, get your paperwork, make sure you mentally and also physically preparing yourself to really say have at least minimal, have a separate bank account, marketing materials, minimal doesn't matter. Talk about your business, do what you do. Don't say that I'm a practitioner of some sort, but and I'm learning, I do this or that, but really talk it like you own it. And that's really important when you respect your business, and that applies to both the beginners or more seasoned people. But I'd say more specifically for beginners, because I have to say that I observe my clients, and sometimes for those who really decided to take those actions and just make some very fine small changes, the universe showed up to you. And then I have a client that just because she decided, okay, I've been dragging from this and I just do a few logistical things, she got herself completely booked out in her next in-person event, just like that. And I think the universe responds to you when you're on fire, when you're on purpose. When you're out of fear, the universe responds to you the same thing. You will meet horrible clients sometimes. So, and that's, I wanted to add because I forgot to mention it, for the beginners type of people who want just started business. And when you're more seasoned, you really start to need to think about, often people cannot see your product and service necessarily. So they will just judge you by what they can see about you. So whether it's about your reputation, about other business practitioner, or how you're being perceived in the circle, in the target market and peers. You need to start thinking that if you have been in the business for a while, then you know how people perceive you. And I'm not talking about necessarily like you're so over concerned about your image and all that. It's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you need to become more aware how you are and how can you improve. Are you someone that who may welcome collaboration and building relationship, or are you someone that who seems to be a little bit aloof and just doing your thing? Are you someone that who is willing to give them some time to help, you know, a new business owner in the community, and so you may learn from one another and be a buddy to someone? And that's always something that you can reflect on, so that you know where it can improve, you can expand, and more importantly, to express more fully who you are and what you can offer. And we evolve as we go. So I think if you have been in business for a while, do start to think about or ask your business buddies that, you know, how you're being perceived, and where you can improve and what you can change. And I think it's important. And that leads to my feminine power topic, because it's an energy that for me it's a very powerful force. It's always creative. A lot of women get it together. I think most of you guys today are women, and we are naturally creative, nurturing, and like to be expansive and grow and all that. And what I found is that a lot of women who really emerged and become really successful in not just a worldly sense, but you know, in the sense that I totally, you know, respect and inspire by, I tend to be women who have certain characteristics that I'm going to share with you. So I have done some research and looked at women that I know and I like their work and what they have done, and who have actually break the 7 figures in the business. So it's not just they doing amazing, fun, lovely things, but they actually also make the income. And first of all, they tend to fulfill a higher purpose. So they never start a business because they want to make extra dollar. Often that's more than that. They're always aiming for creating. These are the definite characters of all these people that I have read the biography and studied the business model, blah, blah, blah. They create an impact to others, to help others, really, essentially. And some people will actually even start continue on some business because that gives them money, whether it's real estate or stock market, whatever, so that they can fund their purposeful project. And then eventually, of course, things can take off and so forth. But you know, the number one reason is about fulfilling a higher purpose, creating a social impact and helping others. And another thing is about they don't do it alone. They often will help people along the way, or receive help from others. They collaborate. They think bigger than the box. And I think it's really important, and it's a feminine trait as well, feminine power. And often, you know, don't forget the end is inherent in means. So you never had a happy ending when you're horrible journey. I think that's overrated. If you say suffer all these years and finally you get somewhere, I think that 10 years suffering and then 1 year, you know, good time, it's not probably not worth it. I'd rather to have free from 10 years suffering. So you must enjoy your process, your means to the end. And when women really can tap into their feminine power and open to that and forget about that, you know, you got to go through difficult times in order to succeed and all this self-doubt thing, then often that it's much easier to get there. And again, when you are on that vibration, when you are on purpose, when you are aligned and committed to only do those things that serve you and your business, you tend to achieve success much easier than if you focus the other way, that what other people are doing and it seems to give them the results, they get that, so I'm going to just follow that. It's usually not that easy. It's not going to work like that for you. So, and then one of the last but important point is that all these women actually were also very focused on how to generate strong profit when they're in alignment with what they're doing too. So not just, you know, I think good thoughts and I stay at home and I'm in denial of what's happening in the world and what people need, and you know, and that would just do it. It doesn't. You got to go out there and take the actions that are going to bring you profit, in alignment with what it's right for you, and do it. So it's both. It's not just thinking good thoughts. That's just not going to cut it. Not in my observation, not in my experience, and not what I have learned from others. So you got to combine the two. And then the thing is, and some people also have a problem about talking about making more money from the business because they're serving others, especially if you're in the Zobis. But you remember all the resources is going to bring back and expand what you can do and serve the higher purpose. And also, more importantly, you can help others who are struggling because then you can tell them how you did it. So I think it's really win-win and hand in hand. So now I've been dreaming of a lot and I'm talking a lot of things, and I hope it's still tie in with what I have planned, because sometimes I do put in a lot more sort of things that may not be so necessarily what I have thought that I need to deliver. Sometimes the webinar take me to another place, but I hope that's because the group of people I have tonight, that's what they need. Sometimes it's just how it happens. The universe responds. So, but I want to tell you a little bit more about how exactly you can take these keys or concepts that I talked about to a deeper level and implement them so that you can create transformation for both yourself and your business in a longer time. So one of the things that I'm doing, I'm launching, is my new coaching program, which is quite an intensive one. So I put together, based on what I've talked about today, and in a more structured manner, that really help you to look at how you're going to set up a business model that suits your lifestyle and the needs. And I talk about at the beginning that I'm going to mention something that, what I have put together so that can help people on the journey if they feel they got something out of today. And definitely we'll work on, like from that intensive course, we'll work on your Create Your Signature program and help others to really see your unique gifts and talent using your skills and experience as well. And then tap into that feminine power is a very important piece, and how to really use that to center yourself to become what I call influencer. And there will be lots of tips and processes to help you to improve your productivity and vitality, because we need both. And so I would say my program is often very much mixed between the practical, very down-to-earth things that you can do and implement, as well as very much the mental, the mindset, the vibration, the energetic piece, and they are together in alignment. So that's what I often do. And the program will include 4 modules that you will get access to a particular platform that you can see online, you can view it, you can download it, and there will be both video and audio. So if you're on the go, you can listen in the car, or you can really watch it in the computer and take notes and stuff like that. That will be like PowerPoint presentation with my voice, so that you can hear it, and you can also get the PowerPoint. There'll be handout, checklists, all that sort of stuff that you normally expect. But you will get 2 coaching calls with me so that we can work with where you are. And so the program itself, it's $475 if you pay in full, and if you pay in 2 installments, $255. So it's a very intensive program. I'm using a new platform to deliver it, and I think that will be really good. And I'm probably going to throw in some Q&A time if there are certain things I can see people tend to ask or have that problem. And I want to nurture a group of people that have the same passion to create purposeful and profitable business together. So, oh, and yes, to honor you guys being here today, and I put up a fast action bonus that I call. So the first 20 people who sign up or enroll, you will get a ticket to my full day immersion program. So, and I do feel there's a lot of value when you meet not one-to-one, in person. So I'm going to throw in a free ticket for the first 20 people who sign up, which is $325 itself. So if you sign up, enroll this program, you get the full self-study, self-paced module. They'll deliver to you once a week for 4 weeks, but you can self-pace with the material. But you get 2 coaching calls with me, and you get a full day workshop ticket with me. One will be in March, one will be in June, July. So it doesn't matter. You'll get 1 ticket to see me in person, work in a group. So it'll be really fun, really great. So if you're interested, head to my website and you can sign up there. So just before I came on, I had some problem with PayPal. So you can't pay straight away and do whatever, but it doesn't matter. Like if you're interested, if you aim for really want to work with me and focus on growing a business in alignment, then you just go to my website, click on those links, and enroll yourself. I get your details. I know you're in. I'll contact you and work out a payment later. But then you'll become one of the first 20 people to get the free ticket to my day workshops. So really think about it. And all you need to do is to go to SoBiz Coaching and you will see the details. And if you any problem or question, you can always email me. We'll help you out along the way. So I hope that was what you expected for today. Because as I said, sometimes webinar take it its own direction. I think I talk a lot about mindset and mental things than I expected. I often talk a lot of practical things, like if you have been to my in-person workshops, say at the Lighten Up Summit, and things like that. I talk a lot about technical stuff, how to do things and how things work, and I explain them, and I try to make it really easy for people. So even though if you are scared of technology and online stuff, I'll make it really simple for you. So that's one of the things I do a lot. I explain those things. I teach people the technical, practical thing. But today I get into a very different plane, I felt, which is really more about, are you in alignment with who you want, who you are, and what you want to bring to the world. And when you are in that place and you combine it with inspire action, you are unstoppable, and you got to give yourself that credit that you are, and it's possible for you, and success and all that. So I hope you enjoyed today, and I have been putting you on mute, and I only have a couple of minutes, but if anyone wants to have questions, if you want to ask any questions, please, I can put in the chat box. I can respond to it, and if I don't get to do it now, I will email you later. Or now it is in Q&A mode, so if you want to ask a question, you put up your hand, and that will be great. So I haven't seen anyone put in anything. And what will happen though is also that I will send out a recording of this, so so you will see the PowerPoint as well. So yeah, and I hope this is something that so no one's asking questions as usual. We're very quiet, or maybe you're not, like, I don't know whether you're still around, but people are still signing. So I hope that's not because something's wrong with the technology, so you cannot ask the question. If so, just email me. So many of you know my email address. I will repeat it here. It's info@soulbizcoaching.com, and the website is soulbizcoaching.com as well. So if you head into the website, you can oh, Denise, give voice. Okay, ask the question. I can see that you are here, so feel free to ask your question. I have unmuted you.
Hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
You can hear me. It was not so much a question. It was just, I just wanted to say I got so much out of tonight, and I just wanted to say it was really great. That was all. And what it did was just give me some more clarification on everything we've already gone through as well. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you so much. You're
I'm
wonderful.
sure I'll have questions later, and I'll email them to you. So
Great.
thank you.
Thank you so much, Denise. And I love people asking questions, because it's one way for me to learn, and also one way to know what people need. And as I said today, I wasn't expecting our ticket so much on the mindset level, but I actually start to see a lot of my clients, they're so capable, like yourself. You guys done amazing things, you create amazing products. And sometimes it's often our mindset that may trip us, or may prevent us from running faster. So yeah, but great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Denise.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. And thank you so much, Carolyn. I can see you in the chat box talking about alignment. I know I guess I repeat myself a lot, so I'm sorry about it. But yes. And thank you, Rash, about saying this is has been helpful and refreshing, and I guess some of you I'm already like working with and in touch with. And then if you have any more questions, feel free to ask me, and I will also respond to you as soon as I can. So I hope you enjoy this, and I will probably do more about webinar in the future. I love teaching, as you may know, and next time I probably will pick a slightly different subject, which is still about business, because I often felt that when a lot of my clients ask me the same type of question, have the same type of concern, I think the best thing is to do a free webinar to answer them, and because that's what they need, and that's what we do. No matter what practitioner you are, if you're providing a service, you always observe what is that people you need, not necessarily what you love to teach because that's really the way to help the others. So thank you, Eva. Great. Thank you, everyone. And I'm going to give this a close because we just passed 8 o'clock. And yeah, and if you want to contact me, you know how. So you have a wonderful evening and have a great night. Thank you, everyone.